Hello and welcome to another video on the Fix It Frank 412 YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing front brakes and rotors on a 2016 Honda Civic 4-cylinder. We're going to start by going over what you'll need. I'm going to also release the pressure here in the brake fluid reservoir by just taking the cap off, so that way when we're pushing the piston back in, it doesn't cause any issues. Things you're going to need a 19 millimeter socket to remove the wheel, which we've already done. You'll need a torque wrench to tighten up when we're all done. You'll need a wrench and a 12 millimeter and a 17 millimeter to remove the caliper and the caliper bracket. We'll need some anti-seize as well as brake lubricant, something to push the piston back in. I have an impact screwdriver here to remove the screw out of the rotor that comes there from the factory. We have a wire brush as well as this to help clean the slides for the pads. Some brake cleaner, a hammer, and then I am using Centric Premium rotors. I would either suggest using these or factory Honda parts. I've had very good luck with Centric, so I'm using those, as well as their new PQ Pro disc brake pads. Part number on the pads is 500-09143, and the parts on the rotor is 120-436. So let's get started here. Again, I removed the cap for the brake fluid reservoir. We've already went ahead and removed the wheel, as well as removed or placed a jack stand under the car for our safety. I'll get you set up here. I'm going to start first by, this is probably one of the hardest parts, is removing this screw that Honda puts here to hold the rotor from the factory. I tried a drill. I already did the other side. That did not work. So I would recommend, if you can, get yourself one of these impact screwdrivers. This works where you turn with one hand and you hammer with the other. To get this loose. Now sometimes I'll go tight. I'll try and loosen it again. This is probably one of the hardest parts of this brake job. Wow. The rust up here in Pennsylvania does not help this fact. Whew. Let me try to tighten it again. I had a little trouble with the other side too. Once it went, it went. There we go. Just needed the right angle on it. Make sure you guys can see what we're doing here. Okay. So I get that done first because that's going to honestly be the hardest part of this brake job. If you're in a non-rusty area of the country, if you don't get rust and salt, you probably won't have as much of an issue with that. Okay, next I'm going to quick run over and grab my 12 and 17 millimeters to remove the caliper and caliper bracket. You can remove them together. I personally just like to remove them separately. It doesn't matter really either way. The caliper will usually come off much easier than the caliper bracket. I found the other side, once you loosen the two bolts, they come out by hand. So 12 millimeter again for the caliper. And then we can pull that off and out of the way. Just set it up there for now. And then I, on the other side, was able to remove these little spring clips. We do get new of those, so we don't need to reuse them. And then I was able to actually slide the pads out, which was nice. I don't want that falling because that will... Okay. Seems like those pads are sticking in there a little bit, so I'll just leave them in there for the moment. Let's get the caliper bracket off. Again, this is a 17 millimeter, and this will probably require a little bit more effort. Okay, again though, once these broke loose on the other side, I was able to undo them by hand. Okay. Okay, got those removed. Set those aside and remove the caliper bracket with the brake pads. Now again, this on the other side was stuck as well due to the rust. So to remove the rotor itself, again, make sure your screw's out, which is what we did in the first step, and then I usually just hit it a couple times on the outside edge, and that kind of frees it up. You'll see all the rust fall out from behind it. And one of the reasons we're doing pads and rotors on this car is due to the rotors. You can see the back side of them has a lot of rust. If you go down a hill for a long period of time braking, I was getting some pulsing as well. And I know it's not the back because I replaced those about 30,000 miles, 20 to 30,000 miles ago. These are the original Honda brakes in the front, and we're almost at 62,000. So just to give you guys an idea on the life we got out of them. Okay, I'm going to stop the video there. That way we have it in two parts, the removal and the installation. So please feel free to check the video. I'm going to link it in one of the corners here for part 2. And thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in a few moments.